Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, sisters. I hope that you are all doing well. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Zahra, and I make content to support Muslim women on their journeys through wifehood, womanhood, and motherhood. If that sounds interesting, then I would love for you to subscribe and join the sisterhood, okay? Also, follow me on Instagram because there's a lot more content on there, inshallah. The question at hand today is, how long can a wife wait before engaging in intimacy with her husband? So we're talking about a newlywed wife, just got married. What is the correct time to wait before engaging in intimacy? So I'm going to go right into it, inshallah, and I'm going to try and keep things as modest as possible while talking about this very important topic, inshallah. So I always advise sisters that it's completely normal, it's expected to feel shy, nervous, anxious, and even a little bit scared about the thought of intimacy after marriage, and that's completely normal. But along with that fear and the shyness, there should also be an element of excitement and eagerness. Okay, that's something that should be present. So it's not about only being scared and shy. There should be an element of excitedness and eagerness. And, this is something natural that Allah has created within human beings, right? So if you find that you have an extreme fear of intimacy, or you feel that you are too scared, you definitely can't do this, then I would actually advise that you are maybe not ready for marriage, because intimacy is perhaps one of the biggest aspects of marriage. It's one of the biggest reasons why people get married. It's not the only reason, and I can't say it's the most important reason, but it's definitely up there with the very, very important things in a marriage. So if you feel that this is something that you are absolutely not open to, then perhaps it's not time for you to get married yet, okay? One of the greatest rights that the spouses have over each other in marriage is the right of intimacy. And this goes both ways, right? Because when we talk about this issue, people always think it's only directed to the women, but actually it goes both ways. Both spouses have this right over each other. And there are definitely cases where it's the wife that's actually eager to engage in intimacy on the wedding night, but the husband is not showing interest, either due to shyness or, I don't know, Allahu A'lam. But it definitely goes both ways. So if you find that the fear of intimacy is kind of overwhelming, then you should really dive deep within yourself and work out why that is. Then you can communicate this to your spouse before the nikah. It may be due to a past traumatic experience, maybe some sort of abuse or assault, or things of that nature. And I always advise sisters who have experienced things of that nature to try and get therapy, to try and go and see a professional to be able to talk through these things and get some healing. It's actually really common, and I've spoken to quite a few sisters privately who have an extreme fear of intimacy, and that stems from abuse in childhood and so on. One sister in particular was really struggling, and she was due to get married. She was really struggling, and she explained this to her husband before the nikah. So she let him know that this is something that she's really anxious about, the thought of intimacy, and he was understanding, and he was willing to wait on her timeline to make sure she's ready and comfortable. Another reason why you might be feeling so scared of intimacy could be because you just don't know what to expect from intimacy. You've never had any proper education on the topic when it comes to matters related to this subject, and all you've heard is scary stories from older women or other people that got married, and now you have this fear of what might happen or if it's going to be painful or any of that. In this case, I would recommend for you to educate yourself on the topic of intimacy. Learn about your body, your anatomy, what happens during the intimacy process, so that you know what to expect. Of course, do this in a halal way, and just be careful what you search on Google, because there's a lot of inappropriate stuff out there. I would actually recommend my ebook, which is called an intimate guide for the Muslimah bride. And in this ebook, we discuss all things related to intimacy that Muslim women need to be aware of before marriage. A lot of sisters have read the book and they found it really helpful for their confidence and making them feel prepared and not so scared of intimacy anymore. So I'll leave a link to the book in my description, inshallah. Now, another reason why some sisters feel like they are so scared of intimacy is simply due to extreme shyness. Okay, as I've mentioned before, we are all different and Allah created us differently. So some sisters really struggle with shyness to a point where it's actually so extreme. And this could come from something like low self-esteem. So perhaps the sister is fine with intimacy and maybe she's even excited about it, but she's being held back by this feeling of being shy or timid. Maybe she's a bit concerned about some insecurities about her body, about her looks. And in this case, it could simply be that the husband would just need to reassure her more, compliments and kind treatment. Maybe the husband can bring a small gift after the nikah, something small and sentimental, maybe like a card with some reassuring words, or he can just say reassuring, comforting words to his wife, and she will begin to feel more confident. Sisters who are really shy may suffer with low self-worth. And if this is you, I want you to remember that your husband chose to marry you, okay? He saw your face, he knows what you look like. He went through the whole process of mahar and meeting your family and all the meetings. He met your dad, your brothers, and he went ahead and chose to marry you. So have confidence in that. Have confidence in yourself. Know that you are worth it. You are much more than just your looks. You are a Muslim woman, and that is the most valuable thing that a man can attain from this dunya. Okay, and that's a hadith. It's an authentic hadith that the most valuable treasure from the dunya that a man can attain is a righteous wife. So when a man chooses to marry you, he's pledging to look after you, to protect you, to provide for you. He's not a stranger. He knows you, he's chosen you, and he deserves your best. What you need to do now is believe in yourself and see yourself as worthy. Another reason why sisters may be afraid of intimacy could be something like fear of pregnancy. There's so many different reasons. There's even a condition called erotophobia, where people have a fear or aversion to intimacy. So sisters, if you feel that this is you, then you really need to sit with yourself and work out the cause of your fear, and inshallah get some professional help before you get married. Or if you are talking to someone, maybe having meetings with someone for marriage, then perhaps this is something you can bring up in the later stages, maybe through your wali, or maybe you can speak to his sister about it and she can tell him, whatever feels comfortable for you. Now, to answer the question directly about how long a wife can wait before being intimate with her husband, we have to understand something first. This is something really obvious, but I think a lot of us don't realize it. I know I didn't realize it before I got married. And what it is that the nikah contract is a contract that makes intimacy permissible. Literally, the word nikah in Arabic, the literal meaning means the intimate act itself. So when you actually agree to the nikah, or when you sign the contract, this is what you're signing. This is what you're agreeing. This is what you're giving your husband permission for. Intimacy, literally, that's what it means. Of course, there's much more to marriage than just intimacy, but this is the literal meaning of the word nikah. Okay, so I want sisters to realize this, that when you are signing that contract, you are agreeing to intimacy. It means that you are ready or willing or prepared for intimacy very soon after, or maybe waiting a little while. And you have to now do your best to fulfill this duty that you have agreed to, okay? Because it's one of the duties of marriage. In Islam, intimacy is also a duty that the spouses have over one another, and this is to keep the other person chaste and keep them from straying, and to fulfill a need for the other person. So it's a duty on the wives and a duty on the husband. And I do want to emphasize that it is also a duty for the husband to his wife. And actually, that's one of the reasons that is valid for a woman to divorce her husband if he's not fulfilling this duty. So the amount of time that a husband is willing to wait is unique to each individual, and nobody can really give you a direct answer because we're all different, right? Maybe some men can wait a day, maybe a week, a month. I think what's important is to communicate and to make an effort towards getting comfortable. So as a wife, if this is something that you are struggling with, then take the steps to get comfortable. What do you need to get comfortable with intimacy with your husband after the nikah? Some people do say that when a woman gets married and she's a virgin, she has 7 days to be intimate with her husband. Now, that is taken from a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that it is the sunnah that if someone marries a virgin, he should stay with her for 7 days. And if he marries a previously married woman, he should stay with her for 3 days. From that saying of the Prophet ﷺ, which can be found in Sahih Bukhari, Hadith 139, from that hadith, people have derived that those 7 days are for the bride to feel comfortable, to be able to be intimate with her husband. And from that hadith, people say 7 days is kind of the time that the wife can wait. Now, that hadith doesn't directly say that. The thing is, lack of intimacy for a prolonged period of time without communication, without understanding, will definitely impact the marriage negatively. So I want to end this topic by giving some points to reassure sisters, okay? The first point is that I don't want you to worry about any insecurities about your body and your looks and so on. Allah created men naturally to be attracted to women. So you'll be okay, inshallah. Your husband will find you attractive. Don't let that hold you back. You have to love yourself and accept yourself and see yourself as attractive, and this will then pass on to your husband. The second point I want to say is that it's okay to leave a gap between the nikah and the walima. So what you can do a nikah with your husband, and it can be something really small. It can just be something really quick in the masjid, and that will make you and your husband halal for each other. After that nikah, then you and your husband can talk on the phone, you can go on dates, you can spend time together before moving in together. This can be months before the walima. And when you do this, then you feel more connected emotionally to him, and it might make the process easier for you. I actually think that's a really, really good idea. And I would recommend sisters to do this if you feel that you are extremely shy or you just want to get to know your husband a bit better. Also, many sisters feel anxious before the nikah, but once the nikah has been pronounced, once you've made that covenant before Allah, then you find that naturally you will just feel more relaxed, you feel more comfortable, you feel more comfortable to be yourself around your husband. So many sisters have said that after the nikah, they were surprised because they felt so comfortable. So have hope in that, inshallah. So that's the end of this topic, and I hope this was helpful. I hope you got a benefit from this, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for watching. Please check out my ebook, and you can find the link in the description. Assalamu alaikum.